There are very few things in India that feel truly non-negotiable. Now, milk is one of them. Your morning chai, your coffee, your child's breakfast, curd, paneer, sweets, protein shakes. Well, milk quietly sits inside the daily life of almost every Indian household. And that's exactly why the news matters so much. Amul has increased milk prices across India by 2 rupees per litre starting May 14th. The price hike will apply to major fresh pouch milk variants and translates to an increase of around 2.5 to 3.5% per litre of milk. And almost immediately, Mother Dairy followed with its own price hike. Now, this is something that economists call milkflation. Now, milk inflation doesn't behave like luxury inflation. If iPhones become expensive, people delay buying them. But milk, people cannot simply stop consuming milk. And that makes dairy inflation politically and economically sensitive because milk is not just one product. It sits inside a massive chain of everyday consumption. If milk prices rise and eventually tea becomes costlier, coffee becomes costlier, sweets become costlier, paneer becomes costlier, ice cream becomes costlier, restaurant bills rise, bakery prices rise, even your neighborhood chai stall starts feeling the pressure, and suddenly a 2 rupee milk hike becomes economy-wide inflation, and that's called milkflation. Now, the obvious question, why are prices rising? Well, Amul says production costs have surged, cattle feed is more expensive, fuel costs are higher, packaging costs have risen, transportation is becoming costlier. The Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation, the body behind Amul, says farmers were already given roughly a 3.7% increase in procurement prices over the last year. And according to Amul, nearly 80 paisa of every rupee consumers spend goes directly back to milk producers. And with Mother Dairy announcing a similar 2 rupee per litre hike, this tells you that this is not about one company trying to raise margins. This is an industry-wide cost problem. And once major dairy players move together, smaller regional brands often follow. So from their perspective, this hike is necessary to keep dairy farmers profitable. But from the consumer's perspective, well, your household budget just got tighter yet again. And here's the larger problem. Milk inflation is arriving at a time when Indian households are already dealing with pressure from multiple directions. Now, fuel worries, food inflation, higher edible oil prices, gold becoming more expensive, weakening rupee against the US dollar, and now milk joins that list. And psychologically, milk inflation hits differently because milk is a daily purchase. You see it every single morning. Now, here's the irony. India is the world's largest milk producer, and brands like Amul become symbols of India's white revolution, the massive transformation that turned India from a milk-deficient country into a dairy giant. But even the world's biggest milk producer cannot escape rising input costs because modern dairy farming depends heavily on number one, fuel, then transportation, animal feed, cold chain, packaging, electricity, and when all of those become expensive all at the same time, milk inflation becomes almost inevitable. Now, think about who largely gets the hardest hit. Not upper income households, they will absorb that extra 2 rupee with comparatively less trouble. The real pressure lands on middle class and lower income families, especially households with children, because milk is not seen as optional spending in India, it is nutrition. And this is why milk prices matter far beyond the dairy aisle. Milk is one of the clearest indications of pressure building inside the real economy. So, is milkflation a signal or a deeper inflation shock likely to hit your wallets?